Open the meeting at 7:01. Okay, you ready, Kermit? I mean Charlie? I don't know where that word came from.
Would she call him Kermit?
Oh.
Kermit. I like that.
I bet you called him turnip, which would have been funnier, frankly, to me.
Heidi has said she's not going to be able to make it tonight, so that's the only person that I heard from. And looks like everybody else is here. And so I just want to remind everybody, let's try not to use names. That's a good reminder for everybody and for me. And we have the Groveland TV with us, and we have some public with us, and we can get to the agenda. Under correspondence, I think Jen has something.
Yes, the Future Friends group, sorry, I just didn't open my email to get that information out in time, would like to use the money that they raised at the bake sale during the book sale to buy a pass for the MFA. I believe that it was $350-ish that they raised. And the pass is approximately that much. I have done the research and I cannot seem to find the paper that I meant to bring with me tonight, showing that we can use that to pay for that. So I will get that and I'll get that to you, Diana or Lori, and we can.
Well, they buy it.
Sorry.
No,
We have the money in our donation account,
Yeah,
so we have to buy it.
Yeah.
But it'll be, purchased by the Future Friends of the Groveland Library.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That was the offer we extended them when we asked if they would like to host the bake sale.
Right.
So that's a great pass. It'll be interesting to see. We'll have to make sure it goes in the newsletter to make sure we get it used as much as possible. I love it. So to approval of minutes, Carla's passed out the minutes.
Thank you, Carla. I make a motion to accept the minutes of October 22nd.
I second.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Thank you, Carlos. And Diana had asked that we put on Groveland Gathers to Read for the this agenda, and that will be coming up in the spring, or if we talk about it's what, third year?
Yes, it'll be the third year. So whether or not we should do it for the spring, if we have thoughts on that.
How do you feel? Do you feel it's a popular, seems to be a popular
definitely.
program?
Definitely, it's a popular program. It definitely, I don't know if maybe we should move it another month further along.
So
Maybe
instead
do
of
it in
starting March, start
maybe
in
do it
April, May.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
But
And
I
then
mean, certainly
Give you
doing
some
the
time to breathe.
doing the programs is absolutely fun, and
Yeah. And it goes right through the summer usually. A lot of the programming.
Yeah, it can. It's meant for the month, but
sometimes some pieces go. And would you do the same sort of thing? Have a survey of the patrons to nominate books?
exactly. So
Okay.
yeah, get the books
When would you
nominated.
start that?
We should start it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you go about raising the money.
What's
So
our
in the
budget?
past, I think we do we anybody
know what
do
we
we
spent
recall
last year?
what we spent last year? I think it was.
I think it might have been about 1,200.
I think it was.
Yeah. that was
And the
my-
same the year before, I believe.
Okay.
And we took it from state aid, I think.
Okay.
The challenge this year is
State aid.
State aid. And Denise was supposed supposed to write a letter to just let it go into the negative so that we can balance it at the end of the year with the warrants moving it at the end of the fiscal year. I think it's a really good idea to keep the delay and do April, May
Okay,
instead of March.
so we'll look into April and May.
And and if it, it's really up to how the reality of how it works. So if it even needs to be, April, March, April, May, June, just do.
Once you
do
get
what you
into
need.
the summer, I think you might
Yeah.
run into not enough
People going away,
participation.
Right.
but, yeah, and maybe April's good.
Do you have a theme that you're thinking about for this year?
That will depend on
the
what,
book. On the
what,
book.
exactly,
Yeah.
so,
Didn't you just put out things at the desk for people to take and vote?
exactly,
Or put in
Put in a
nominations?
box.
exactly, so whatever people vote for the book, if then there are multiples, then those go forward, and then it whittles
People
down
vote
to
on that.
three
Yeah, you narrowed it
different.
down to like 3 or 4.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and the qualifications are, it has to be in book form, audio,
Large print.
Yeah.
I know that we had it as a movie
Right.
as well.
That worked
so.
out beautifully, and then it's so much
And
related
it
to
also,
it.
wasn't it their connection with the children's too?
Yes.
And some kind of connection
To be
with
able to.
children's, right.
Do
So
both,
you don't wanna have like a purely adult book that you're
Right.
like, oh,
you want it to
this
be
is
able to
not going to be something
cross
that-
generations.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. So can I have a motion to expend up to $1,200 for Groveland Gathers to read for this year from state aid?
From state aid,
I make that motion.
I second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And abstaining? Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
May the voting begin.
Excellent. Get that
Um,
moving.
So we got the correspondence from Town Hall that the fiscal year 2016 is starting. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look through the document, but it's more the details on how we go through the process, and there was no dates for meetings yet.
No, but we
But
have
it's-
till January 9th to,
That's
it's
the
a
date
double page.
to
January 9th.
get it handed in, and our meetings are usually in February. And they're asking for no more than a 1.5% increase.
How are we gonna meet this January 9th deadline? I mean, that's less than a month away
Before
before
we
we need, so we need to.
And they're asking for a lot of in-depth thought to go into it, into the development of it. And also, for the first time ever, we're
Right.
giving a salary sheet. And it's assumed that it's going to be, non-union, people will have an increase of 2%. So they're asking us to figure that in on
Non-union 2%
Right.
salary
Right.
increase.
And
In
that's supposed to be
addition to-
included in the
But one
not
of
to
those
lose
sheets that
the 1.5?
Say again? I'm sorry.
the, no, that's separate, that's your operating budget.
Oh,
That's
okay.
1.5, yeah.
And what did you say, Kathy? 2% for salary increase.
Do you prefer
Say it?
Civilian contract?
I'm gonna have to ask everybody to talk louder.
Okay.
I must be clogged, sorry.
It's they're saying a 1.5% increase on the operating
Right.
budget, and assuming a 2% increase in contracted employees,
Okay,
which we have no contracted employee at the present time.
right. And that's in addition to the correspondence that, minimum wage is going from $8 to $9, which is, our page salary.
But we're fine with that on all the pages, aren't
What do you mean more
we?
fine?
We're already meeting that minimum.
No.
No,
not
our
that
pages
Oh, our pages are?
are,
I'm thinking the library assistants.
Yeah, no, not the.
the library assistants are at $10, the pages are just a little under.
8.96 or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
So-
8.96.
It's a
So
very
it's not,
slight.
so it's not
Yeah.
gonna, but then the next year goes up another $1. So,
Well, that's good, it's only 4
Yeah.
cents at this point, so we don't really have a whole lot to worry about.
Yeah, then everybody will get 2% after that.
So what happens to the other positions? Like the pages go up $1, what would then happen
Well,
to,
Pages will only go up,
4 cents.
no, next time?
Yeah,
What
Why
happens
next
to
time
the,
they go $1?
because then
That's
it's,
It's
the
a
law.
state.
Oh, because of the, okay.
So are you asking in proportion
I-
what happens to those other people?
yeah, let's not worry about that
Yeah,
because that's a
yeah.
year away, so, but
Yeah.
something will have to happen.
yeah.
Cause that was part of,
Yeah, getting to the deadline of January 9th is sort of unrealistic for me personally. Is there anybody that's able to have the bandwidth to volunteer? Lori, I know you're working on the
I can help
budgets and
with this.
vouchers. And don't forget, we have the search committee too. But you're okay?
But we don't have any viable candidates at the moment,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm okay with,
I mean, maybe Barbara and I could work on, cause you still know a lot of the treasurer stuff and all that, maybe the two of us could work on the budget figures
whatever you'd like.
for
When
it to get,
my bigger concern is for us to get this to them in time, I'm worried about that.
And it has to be approved by the Board of Trustees before it's
So
submitted.
she and I could do this tomorrow, but we all still have to meet
have a
Right.
meeting.
to,
Right.
Who's got the calendar up?
I do.
I mean, that's being practical.
I mean, if we could,
Can meet on the 25th.
nothing else to do.
After seven, we have
Most
to
of us have the
day off. I'll bring
27th
the
off, the
cookies.
26th off.
I'll bring the wine.
Excellent.
No budgeting with wine.
Might
may
may
work
work
out
out.
that
But you by ourselves, you don't have to know about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the 9th
Next
is that
week.
is the
The
first Friday in
Friday.
January.
Well,
And-
technically the second Friday of January,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah, exactly.
technically.
If we could
No,
meet
Monday
on the
the fifth.
5th,
Monday,
Monday the 5th.
Monday the 5th,
and just to.
just to clear the, or
I
do we wanna
personally think
change our
The
meeting?
7th would be more realistic, or the
Could I
6th.
just say something here? If we look at it, nobody I know has had a chance to read it. I was here early and so I saw, but they're asking for, she's asking for different sections of it other than just figures. They're asking for a budget cover letter.
Okay, what page are you reading?
I'm on page 4. A budget cover letter and a copy of the mission statement, full-time equivalent worksheets. Those are easy.
Yeah, a
but
lot
the
of the
other
stuff we
parts-
have. I
We
don't,
do.
Yeah.
I don't see that that's difficult at all.
Well, it's just additional to what we've had to do before,
Right,
so,
But we have all that.
yeah,
do.
yeah.
we do.
I
Excel
would think that
spreadsheet
there would
we've
be
done.
something like this that would have been done last year, that we could look back to it,
Some of these
hopefully.
other things they want, we did not have to
We've
do.
never had to.
Right, we've never had
This
to do
kind
that,
of
it's just,
specific.
it's the additional
This is
time.
versus Denise's
I think we
right.
can actually, you know,
Yeah.
right offhand, we don't have any significant changes right now.
No.
We don't
Right,
have
so we
any
don't need-
new initiatives that we're foreseeing, you know,
Right.
so a lot of this is,
Although, the one thing I really think we need to consider in this coming budget, and Carlos and Diana, you might need to weigh in on this, is we need to think of computers and
Yeah.
replacing computers or software, or, you know, some sort of budget needs to be in a planned effort. I know the staff has talked about how long things are taking, and
They're incredibly slow.
so
What about talking to the, what's the
Comcast,
committee?
Cable
uh,
commission.
Cable Commission. So that should be considered in that, and I don't know when the last time was that we replaced any computer. I think there was maybe one staff, the laptop?
I think
No,
it
we
was a
didn't replace it.
laptop.
No, we haven't
We
replaced it,
updated
we
it.
just updated some
I
memory.
think it's been
That's right.
5 or 6 years on the computers, if I
Yeah.
remember reading something.
And I think the cable commission,
They gave them to us, or they bought them
Yeah.
and gave them
you know,
to the library, so we should talk to them. Yeah.
Okay,
but it's, I mean, it's fairly simple in that, you know, the formula is 1.5%.
Yeah.
so, Diana, do you wanna talk to the Cable Commission, or Diana and Carlos? I don't know how your life is right now, Carlos. And, you know, between MVLC and their assessments, you've talked with MVLC people too, haven't you, when they came,
The
the tech?
Library.
Well, Carrie, Holly Carey,
Oh, when
talk
they,
yet?
no.
No?
Haven't talked. I know that, Tom did,
Mm,
but I haven't talked to anybody over there.
okay. So, maybe they have the details and assessments or whatever, inventory, and then we can put that together so that the cable commission can see where we are and where we need to go.
Yeah.
Greg LeBrecq is still on that committee, but I'm not sure if he's the chair.
Okay, so I'm sorry, back to the date.
Yeah. I'm looking at this going, in the cover letter, they wanna know about significant changes, and the reason why. We don't have any significant
No,
changes,
no.
but we need to increase our budget because of the state aid formula.
Exactly, to keep up the 19.2%.
So that's,
With that, and that provides the opportunity for
That's-
not to have to give a money for a waiver,
exactly.
so.
So that needs to be put in a letter, the cover
Right.
letter.
Right, that would
Right.
be the bulk of
Nice.
why we must have this increase.
And I'm
what-
sure that Denise is fully aware
Well,
of
she
that.
wants it in writing,
Yep.
you know, she's gonna be.
I'll go on the computer and see if I can find anything from last year's, so we can
We
compare
never
that.
had to do any of this.
No, but we had to have had some kind of budget.
Oh, we
Right.
have
Oh,
a
we have a
budget.
budget,
Submit.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, they're just asking for a different setup and more detail.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Okay, so do we want to try to meet on the 5th, and that gives any any time to make any changes, or do we want to meet, it's based on when you guys can get together?
I'm good for the next couple of weeks, I really am.
Okay, so how does everybody look on,
Wanna
January?
do it on Monday or
5th?
Tuesday, I mean, that's the
What,
5th and the
Monday or
6th.
Wednesday?
Well, but, yeah, we
Oh,
can't
Monday.
do Tuesday because,
The library closes.
And
Yeah.
Monday is great, if we can do the 5th.
Okay,
Monday works.
and that way, okay, so, yes,
Now, is that meeting going to be just to look at the budget and done it,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Just
you
a
know,
bunch.
yeah,
20-minute, half hour at the most
Yeah.
kind
yeah,
of thing?
a
Okay.
budget meeting,
Okay.
A
Focus.
posted meeting, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, but I'm saying it's not gonna be
Our regular
a
meeting.
regular
regular,
meeting,
yeah.
this is just gonna be a real down and dirty.
budget.
is it 7 PM still?
I think 7 works mostly.
Yeah.
January
Yep.
5th, 7. Okay, so do I have to make a motion for that? I don't think so. No?
No, we just
Okay.
gotta schedule it,
Alright, so we'll schedule that meeting for the budget,
which means we have to think about the holidays to post that meeting.
right?
I think we could even post it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
You
really
know,
could.
whoever's at town hall the next time, just post the meeting so it's up there, we don't have to worry about it, or
Okay.
Diana can do it for us if you don't mind. doing
No,
Well,
I'll-
And
I'll,
yes,
I'll send you an
it.
email.
Yeah, and I think that
And you can just
we could
email
set,
it to Ann and she'll post it.
So are you designating committee to work on the
Yeah.
budget?
We're
Yeah,
gonna
do
get
we need
together
to
and
make
fill in
a
the
motion
blanks.
on that?
I think it's a consensus.
Yeah, consensus. So thank you, Lori and Barbara, I appreciate that, and, Jen,
if you need help, let me know.
auxiliary, and, support, I'm sure Diana, you'll have to have 1 or 2 conversations about
oh,
it.
sure.
So just to remind us of January, our January meeting would be on the 28th for the fourth Wednesday.
Okay, so you are gonna do that.
Yeah, so we'll keep that meeting,
So, 28.
barring any other changes, but that would be the next meeting also.
Is there a way for us to see the proposed, which you work on before Monday, so that when we're here, we're prepared?
Yeah.
Rather than going,
So they can email us
is that, you know,
ahead of time.
is that possible? Just 'cause, you know, that takes time, and then you get home,
Detailed.
it's gonna be very detailed, and I think this way we can have a little bit of thought
Yeah,
to
we just
it.
can't discuss it on,
Oh, no,
Yeah,
right.
easily,
We can
as
write our
long as
notes
they're,
down
right,
when
as
we
long as they're
get
prepared,
here.
we can,
Exactly.
Ask
Just,
questions.
I know it's extra work, but I would appreciate that.
But that really does help. You're right, Laurel. Thank you.
Especially if it's pages long, like it looks like it may be.
But, I think it'll be a nice cover letter to, just state
Explain,
up
yeah.
front what's going on. Anything else on the budget process? No? Thank you. So the update on the grant, did we receive our, oh, there it is.
this,
Okay.
So
It's
from
the summary though, right? Diane?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, as of meeting time, we've only received a summary.
Can you summarize the summary?
As of today.
Yeah.
So the Northeast Document Conservation Center sent their preliminary summary report after spending the entire day.
Most of the day, yes.
Yeah,
Um,
They had
The beginning of the month or the end of November?
in November 17th,
Yeah, and
they had sent to
an
an
assessment of our historical document or historical collection.
So it goes into, even just the summary goes into a lot of detail about what we have, what they recommend us doing. The recommendations apparently go a lot more specific in the final assessment that they are going to send. They were having technical problems apparently. But a lot of it is doing staff training on how to take care of it. A lot of it is how to store it, and how setting up programs that either staff has time or volunteers might be involved in cataloging and organizing it. Very specific about just handling it, getting back into the practice of signing things in, signing things out to people to make sure that there's a system in place for that. Just very, a disaster plan set up for that.
But I don't see anywhere, they've given us no dollar amounts.
No,
No,
summary.
in this not, and I don't
How do we
know,
fill out the other sheet?
and I don't know if that happens in the further,
Doesn't look like it's very expensive.
Say it again, Carlos.
Sorry, it doesn't look like it's very expensive.
Well,
or
the
it might
short-term
be.
priorities.
Even,
Yeah,
even though
I think,
Yeah, what's your budget line?
I think it would be a little by little thing depending on
Yes.
what
because I
we
mean,
do.
right now it's a humidifier and security, and then
And cleanliness,
right.
I'm figuring out the
And
best storage
storage.
practices.
storage case, and that's probably what we want to look at for the first round, is having the archival quality boxes and that to start the process.
Yeah,
They're not giving us any prices in this.
right,
So we'd have to come up with a reasonable figure that would be doable, community preservation.
They did give us the amount of linear feet we have
Right.
for archival, so
We
we're at
gave
least
them
able
that.
to, we'll at least be able to, we gave them that. We can at least
That was one of
know
the
what we should
questions.
buy, how big of a thing we should buy.
Well, yeah, and they went through everything and took photographs of
Yeah.
every map, every picture that we have. We pulled things out from behind cases
yeah,
and
and they went down in the basement.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
So,
so that's where we'd have to, when this, more than the summary, maybe we have until, there's been an extension on the community preservation application process to January, it's January 17th, Charlie, am I right? Did they approve that? January 17th, community preservation?
So they-
You didn't film that, okay. Well, right around the middle of January, in order to apply, to have our cover letter and what we need, the name of the project, the address of the project, and for historic preservation, we need a project cost, and that's where it would come in, would be the,
Do they put costs, do you know, on the second half for the
I
bigger
don't
plan?
know,
if they
Well,
do-
And
I think that's one of
yeah.
the things we need to call back and ask, so do you,
But we're
Diane?
gonna get the final one, right? 'Cause this is
we
just
are, and they had hoped to get that to us before this meeting, but it wasn't, it still wasn't there right before.
So maybe that also could go on the agenda for the January 7th meeting.
Yeah,
That may come
Otherwise, we'd
in
miss the
between now and
deadline
then.
if it went to January 28th. And it would be a shame to miss the deadline when we've got a good,
Well, I don't think we're gonna miss that deadline.
but we can't go in with just a figure we pull out. We have to have a good solid, so now Eva, having seen everything and photographed everything, can you give us an idea of the cost of
Right.
reservation
Yeah.
in the beginning, the
Right.
starting?
Right, some of your
So
suggestions.
Diana, do you wanna, let us know, or do you wanna follow up that with the next, or do you want Kathy to call? Them to ask whether it's gonna be in the final report and whether they can give us a dollar figure so that we can go forward with the next grant.
Sure, if when it doesn't come in, cause I,
If it doesn't have it when it comes in.
yeah.
Just give her a call.
Find
She
out.
may be assuming, because she gave us the booklet on one of the,
Excuse me.
one of the places that you can get archival
Right.
material, that we've assessed, but we don't have an idea of how to assess until now we know what would have cost to hold 4 antique maps. And,
Right,
but we need some guidance from
yeah,
Northeast.
some kind of approximation,
Right.
and I don't know if they'll have that kind of,
Well, they should have some.
be able to project it based
may-
on,
they may
cause
Even
Yeah.
if it's not a
'Cause-
final number, but just
Exactly.
some
Right.
kind of.
some
Ballpark.
approximate.
Yeah, because in the
But- and
application
it
should-
we
and a
had
high
filled
wall.
out,
Right.
we had said that we were going, the next step was
To go for
was to apply for this next grant, to actually have work
Yeah.
done and to be
So-
able to purchase
Community
things
preservation.
and stuff like that, and without any kind of numbers.
it, yeah.
So if they don't have numbers, then, let us know so that we can, you know,
We'll put Kathy on them.
yeah, or, we
Sort
start,
of
we need to
draft.
start pricing through their archive.
Right.
Exactly.
As Carlos just said, is they may have to remain neutral, they may
They
not be
may. Right.
able to give this information.
And
Well, they
then
were
may
very,
have an
very
estimate.
general, they were very general
Yeah.
when they gave the,
Yeah.
this is one of many. This is fairly local, so your shipping costs are minimal, as you may get a little better price from a company in California, however
Yeah.
you're paying these huge shipping costs. What happens with community preservation, if I'm repeating myself, stop me, if the community preservation committee approves this, it goes from there to the Board of Selectmen. We are not the procurement officers, Denise is the procurement officer for the town. So
That means-
funds don't come to us, if, once it's approved at town meeting, Denise would go out to bid for what we
The
need.
archival
Right,
With
Right.
our guidance
So-
though.
well, no, she is the procurement
Right,
officer.
but, right.
So the bid would, if it goes statewide, it would go out on a state website for, that would be how it would start. And if it was cost basis, then the decision would be made there. If there are other factors taken into consideration, then it would be part of it. But she's the procurement officer.
So essentially, we just have to provide her with
Exactly,
exactly what we want
exactly,
and request that there be no substitutions.
exactly, yes. Well, that's how it works, cause it's, it's town money.
So that makes, I'm glad we have that extension time to January 17th.
I am.
And you're anticipating the report anytime, so, if and when it comes in, let us know. And Barbara, who else worked with you? Heidi. So maybe, you have a team of 3 here, or at least that will be able to, follow up and get, start pricing things if it's not there.
If they
Thanks.
can even say that you need 50 such and such size archival,
Right,
that type of thing,
right.
then that would be
We
a
can do
great
the math.
start,
Some
yeah.
kind of way
Yeah.
to figure it.
All right, thank
Because
you.
this was just submitted today.
Yeah, so
Yes.
De- December 15th it was
Exactly.
due, yeah,
Exactly.
it was
Yeah.
their report.
Yeah, and one of them was in California and the other one's here, so apparently they were having.
Did Ian get a copy? Did you get a copy of this?
And,
No, would you like to see it?
so,
Thank you, dear.
the next thing on the agenda is staffing update and, so,
So,
all our pages are hired and have started.
yes, yep, so we have 3 pages.
And you have the letter if anybody, or we might have just passed it around.
No, I have it here, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
was I supposed to pass it, excuse me.
I didn't make copies.
So-
It's fine.
So we have the 3 pages for a total of 14 hours a week. We have a library system who started today.
So if anybody didn't
That
see
makes
her,
number 3.
Amanda.
Yeah.
So that's our
Yes,
third
so
library
that's
assistant,
good.
Excellent.
and she's up to about 15 hours, 14 and a half.
Yeah, 14 and a half hours.
So we have 3 library assistants now?
Yes,
Mhm.
One senior, and then
We have
2
Lauren, Megan, and
Right.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Yeah. So
I'm just,
that's great.
salaries, that's what I'm just,
Thank you.
yeah.
And how is the scheduling working out?
so far so good,
Excellent.
so we'll,
How does January look?
I think it will be fine. I think we'll be able to do regular hours.
So go
That's
add
what,
back
that's what
our
I'm anticipating,
Friday
so,
morning and
Yeah. I think so.
what was the other
Our
time?
Friday afternoon and our
Friday.
Monday.
Monday
Yeah.
morning, Friday
Monday.
afternoon.
Monday at
Monday,
1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be wonderful by the time we go into budget to have all that.
Yeah, back
Starting
on.
the first of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Excellent, thank you,
Yeah.
Diana.
Excellent.
How are we doing with children's?
So Heidi gave the emailed me when she said she wasn't going to be there that there are 4 wonderful candidates and the interviews are starting. We're starting for these 4 candidates at least this week and next week.
There's been quite a few resumes for that position, so
Wonderful.
I'm not really, I'm just sort of processing and passing them. I'm not looking through
Yeah.
them, cause I'm not on this search committee, so, I think Diana, you've had a chance to look
Yeah.
at them.
so, yes. So we actually have our first interview on Friday.
Great.
We'll have it, and but yeah, there've been 13 or 14 resumes.
Yeah,
I
even
think.
2 today.
Yes,
that came in.
exactly.
Wonderful.
People with library experience?
Some.
Yeah, well, that's,
so
you know,
some
That
some
seemed to
we
be-
know that doesn't always
some
work.
we were able to cut right out, but some look great.
Great.
And Jen, you want to update the
Sure, and
library director?
for the director's search, we've gotten 5 or 6 resumes. Really, none seem to be acceptable to move forward. A lot don't have public library
Not one that I saw.
experience. There's a lot of school library. There's a lot of university, but we really, we need someone with some public library experience. So we're not rushing into that process again, but I keep posting it and I keep putting it on different sites and I'm making sure that it's on all of the library sites.
Are you on
know.
the Simmons site too?
Yes, yep.
And
Excuse
the-
me, we're on Simmons, we're on I Need a Library Job, we're on Neela, we're on
And VLC.
MVLC.
They seem to be sending their responses from a variety of places too.
Yes.
One was MBLC, one was MBLC, and
Yeah.
one was Simmons.
Yeah, and
that
I'm
I
trying to
recall.
get them to every place that we can that doesn't require us to pay to
Right.
post.
Mm-hmm.
Denise and I did talk about it and we felt that we'd wait till January if necessary to start paying to post. So we're trying to just get it out to the different states. So I've been trying to hit, even like New
You
Hampshire
are.
library assistants and Rhode Island library associations and spreading it out, not just going for the New England, but hitting each state individually to see if I can get it posted.
How all the other libraries that,
Well, that was the question.
Yeah.
What specifically, I don't know, was everybody involved when we all heard how many other libraries are looking for a director?
It's quite a few right around
Yeah,
here.
It's
we're
always
talking-
that way.
Yeah,
Haverhill, Newburyport,
Raleigh.
Raleigh,
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
yeah. So there's quite a few right
Lawrence is
now.
looking again?
That's, yeah, or it was like children's library, no, I thought it was.
Wow.
So I think if we can get the youth.
So if
Yeah.
anybody has a holiday wish they can make, please.
I've thought about it and Denise and I talked about it.
I've gotten
Yeah,
things and I'm like, why am I getting this? I'm a director, but not a library director.
Right.
I'm getting, here's a posting for a job.
Yeah.
we haven't gone to Monster, we have not gone to,
We'll
Craigslist.
we'll
We're
end
not,
up with
we're
more
hoping
things
to
that aren't
get, we want
appropriate.
like higher
The higher-
culture
right, right.
and other things like that, so
Get
we'll
too-
start paying if
we'll
we
get-
need to.
I think we'll get
that's
too
where
many
Lawrence
people
posted.
that
Yeah.
aren't, and is it at Rhode Island's School
Yes,
of Library
I
Science?
believe so.
Okay.
I'll double check that I have.
So that's the main pool, and just everybody put a wish out for the holiday season that we get more good applications. So,
There's an awful lot of competition.
yeah. Well, they all should be shopping around that,
Yes,
then, you know what I mean? They
exactly.
should be putting their names in all three of them. I mean, we're all similar towns,
Yeah.
except for Lawrence,
And people
but,
may be looking to change
yeah,
jobs more after the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, so you
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, yes.
So,
So, under materials, rocket language is up for renewal. Oh, sorry. Is there anything else on scheduling? And
Sounds like
staffing?
it's all running pretty good, Diana.
Yeah,
Sounds like it's all
I think we're
excellent.
getting along.
And with a child, with a young adult librarian.
Yeah, I think, that looks definitely promising, so
Excellent.
that will be good, and
I
once,
have-
once that happens, then the whole director thing.
Then Diana can take a vacation.
I look forward to that.
Have a day off or two.
I'm still thinking about that, spa day,
That's
you
right.
mentioned.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I wanted to pass on too I got a call from the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, and she asked about Tess Gerritsen, and she couldn't come Saturday, but she said, please pass on kudos to Diana for doing such a fantastic job with arranging that. So,
Yeah.
so I wanted to do.
She was a great speaker,
Excellent.
so.
And Charlie
And,
enjoyed
and,
it, so
and
we
very
get to see-
generous of her to come for free and make the 3-hour drive,
From Camden, Maine.
yeah.
And how was the turnout? I wasn't able to come.
A lot of what did you have, 60 that signed up? We didn't get 60.
No, and I don't know how much of it was the,
Weather.
like,
But it
the
wasn't
hour of
really.
snow that happened.
Yeah.
And maybe, a bunch of it was, cause we do have a little bit of an older population, but. So that was a little disappointing. It was really surprising, cause I thought usually with the adult programming, when you get the sign up, we usually get more than the sign up, as
Yeah.
opposed to less. And this time we got about half of what
I
signed
think
up.
the time of the year, I think any other time of the year, a program like that on a Saturday, look at what you've done on other,
Yeah.
It was a
Thank
fabulous
you.
program,
Yeah.
and Diana has been working her heart out between doing the programs and covering everything and doing the scheduling.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you have, and many, so thank you, and Lauren and Megan, and now we have more, and Laurel, thank you for
Laurel
doing
doing
the story
children's
times.
programming, absolutely.
That's huge,
It's fun.
that's huge, that we've been able
It
to
is a
keep
very
the
helpful
story
thing.
time going.
especially
Absolutely.
around Christmas, it's such a
So-
nice,
How was the party?
it's fun.
Yeah.
It was really, really cute, and unfortunately my pictures didn't come out, cause
Oh, well, I didn't even
My-
think to bring a camera.
my phone was,
That's okay.
screwed.
Acting
That's
weird.
all right.
Yeah.
Don't we have a camera here?
Yeah, we did have 2
No,
cameras.
well,
in
but we
Okay.
thought of it last minute. It's like, oh, does anyone have a camera?
Well, we
As
think
we're all,
something
everyone's
out
sitting
we
so
found.
nicely having their little
Yeah.
snacks. Anyway,
Um,
but that's me, afterwards I'm always posing the kids. Pretend you're opening this gift now. Okay, there, that was your Christmas present in the picture.
So, under materials for renewals, we have, rocket language is supposed to be renewed, and were you able to pull some usage statistics?
Yes, so I can send that around. It's definitely hard to
Get,
decipher quite what it means. This
It's in a language of its own.
It
That's one of the
almost,
rocket
it's, it gives us the subscription period, has the number of unique end users is 51, total authorized end users is 181, well, and this is this period of time, for whatever reason it did 3 years, so,
That's for a 3-year period?
that
that
is,
those
but
figures
I also just have a 1 month period, which should have been a year, cause that's what I put in, but it decided to print something different. So, but with the end users, there were 5 people who wanted to do Arabic, 4 people who did Chinese, 11 for French, 17 for Spanish.
That's pretty big
Um,
in one
In a
month.
month?
Arabic.
Yeah,
How many of those
that
people
is
were
what
the
it
same
is.
people that maybe did it 3 or 4 times?
Well, in 3 years, you had 51 unique users. So,
That's not much.
The weird thing is that when it mentions new authorized end users or downloads or section work sessions, transactions, all those are zeros.
but people probably click on it and don't go further.
Don't register maybe or.
So let me pass this around. The total that we paid for it is $229.50, which is, I mean, very cheap for a year. And
For 50 people,
what's that?
for 50 people, or 50 times.
Yeah,
Well, it's 181 divided by 3.
so it depends on whether
Yes.
people actually really are using it,
Using it.
if they are just clicking on it or not.
Just to see what it is.
Because we also could just buy audio CDs that people can use in their car. But those are expensive.
Yeah.
Those are usually like
Especially if
$80.
you're buying Arabic and French and Spanish
Yeah.
and
So,
And you'd
I
have to
mean,
buy multiple ones for all the
each-
different languages.
right. So it's definitely a cheap, easy thing.
however, are
If-
they really using it?
Yeah,
That's
they
the
just
question.
click
well,
it on
we've
to
had
see
it
what
at
does
least
this
3
mean,
years.
what's the language?
Right. And then they go only get so far. And
Oh,
they're,
I want this.
so,
I don't know.
not knowing, there's ways to put things like a survey in front of, Rocket user or one deeper, but I don't know how we buy this or how it's installed on the computer or presented, so.
It's through MVLC, correct?
Yeah, it's just on our website.
Yeah.
People just click
You
on it.
just click.
It's
Like
just
when
a-
you're going to do download
Yeah.
ebooks, it's one of the options down.
yeah.
That's right.
So I don't know whether MVLC allows that kind of question, survey kind of question. Are you a real user or are you going in to explore? Or you've already been here and you know what you're doing?
Or we discontinue it and find out how many people ask us about it, but that's kind of.
I mean,
not the
and
nicest way to do it.
that's a good thought, to see if there are any.
Like, well, what happens,
Is
I
any-
go on here every month and it's
Right,
not here
is
now.
anyone actually,
Well, it expired, it looks like.
Yeah.
It did,
15 days
it-
ago, so
yes.
that's off of our website right now?
no,
No,
it's still
And
there.
they have written to us saying they're looking for our answer, they knew we had a meeting tonight.
Okay.
So I think they're just kinda maintaining
Keeping
it
it there
until we.
because
Yeah.
we didn't come around with the money yet.
Well,
And how much is it again?
$229.50.
this
A
is,
year.
Yeah.
this is kind of question that I would say it's a cheap deferral, to defer the decision until, we can see whether we can actually do a survey through MVLC. It's not something I want Diana or anybody spending time on right now.
Can we
So-
do a 6-month renewal maybe?
Always ask the guy.
Discussing like $3.85 and 83 cents per person
For the year.
per year
So
Of the people that used you.
of the
People-
of the 51
of the
users.
60 users.
Yeah. So, I vote, or my recommendation would be that, we just renew it and we, put it on the on the, new director's, to-do list,
Yeah.
Let
maybe
people know
lower
about it.
priority, before the next renewal, that we get some good data on it. Not that the data isn't good, it's just that
Well,
we wanted to have a harder
Is it-
survey.
That's what
someone
it
just
is.
clicking on
Yeah,
the
exactly.
website going, what is this?
Yeah.
And I'm-
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
get it.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
would
I've done
know
that
that.
for Freakle or whatever the music thing is, I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
yeah,
I'd
I've gone
make
it
a
3
motion
times.
to renew it.
thank you, Kathy, can I have a second?
I'll say that.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
And then the next thank you would be for any opposed magazines. So, what's up with the magazines, Diana?
we go, and get the magazines through W.T. Cox. So we have,
That's our jobber for magazines.
yes. That is, and they don't have, yes. So right now we're paying a total for 41 different subscriptions, $1,509.79. I started to go through each one. I'd only gotten through a couple pages to see how the circulation was on each of them.
I have a question. So do we circulate the current copy or the current
Yeah,
issue as
everything.
everything? So we're
Yeah.
not
We don't hold anything back.
okay.
So, and I was actually really surprised at some of them. At least for the first 2 pages, nothing circulated more than 6 times in the year. Time had only circulated once, which astounded me. But
People
were you
read
gonna
them
say
here.
yes?
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can't charge
Exactly.
people read them
Can't-
here.
Exactly.
Right.
They're talking
So-
about the
Read them here.
circulation.
I don't think I
So-
would take out a magazine, because I don't think
I
that's
do, I
fair.
take them
Yeah,
out
you
and put
do.
them back, and that way I don't have to worry about
I wrote a
saving.
So-
handle in their whole little room and just,
You
Yeah.
you take them out?
oh yeah.
I
See,
do.
I
April's
don't,
got a whole room with nothing but magazines in it.
right,
I
I would
take
only
them.
take out expired, because I feel everyone else wants to come and read these magazines, not me.
So
But I do think that a lot
A lot come and
do
read.
and just
Yeah,
read it.
Read it
Yeah.
here.
Cause
But the
I,
expiration dates are all, like, we started going through this because we were starting to get some
renewal.
A lot of
renewals.
different
So
renewals.
we started talking about the renewals, at which point they printed out the list, and then they said, let's start looking through, cause some of them it's,
Okay,
you know, do we
so
really need them?
right.
so W.T. Cox doesn't have a annual renewal date. So most
No.
jobbers will organize that for you, so you do once a year at your fiscal
This
budget.
has all kinds of various expiration
Yes, so
dates.
that's annoying because then you get, because if for every piece of mail that comes in, you have to stop and look at it.
Yeah.
So, and I know you have this, question is, can we go to Publishers Weekly? Is that a
Oh.
different jobber?
No, Publishers Weekly is another, is another library journal that does book reviews.
Right.
So it reviews children's materials, teens,
Okay,
Adult.
so that's not
so that,
related to
that would be
magazine.
more
That's
for,
another,
that would be more for me and potential employees.
Yes,
That's how books used to be ordered.
Yes,
Back in the
exactly.
okay,
Yeah.
so I
Can I
apologize.
see what
I just
subscriptions
wanted
are
to
now?
make
Yep.
sure I didn't
Just curious.
Yeah.
misinterpret what Publishers
Interesting.
Weekly was.
Can we reduce the number of magazines we get from them and reduce the cost, or do we?
Well,
have
that's
to-
what we were trying to
Yeah,
determine.
Okay.
That's
I
what
will
I was
tell you-
thinking
I will tell
for
you
some
right
specifically.
Now, it is way cheaper to have a jobber do it than it is to have somebody else
Oh, yeah.
to manage every one of them.
But do we need 41 subscriptions?
But we could probably
for
get rid
something?
of,
We're going
A
through them now
few.
to try to see which ones are, they're trying to see which ones they see are being used. And they started reviewing them so that we can say, you know what, this isn't really being used. I mean, some of them,
So the other
when
thing
was
is
the
the
last time
shelf.
it was reviewed?
The other thing is you can do is the shelf cards. Is that in the box, in the front of the boxes, are you using it? Put a mark here.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
so that you count all the people that are using them in the library, and you make it colorful, and you hang pens, and I mean, most of them are there. So, you know, and I do see people
see how
sit
it
there
goes.
with a stack of them, and
Right.
you know,
and you just go through.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cause there's like crafts and things or,
Yeah.
you know, various.
I had no idea we got Rolling Stone.
yeah, I've checked
Someone,
that out
someone
many
else
times.
requested,
what's it?
Rolling
Rolling
Stone.
Stone.
someone else requested that we get Billboard magazine, so I don't know if that's an option as well.
How about the ones that pertain to this area? Do we get like Northeast and
We
We
get
get
a Merrimack
Yankee.
Valley.
Yeah.
Merrimack
Do we get the
Valley.
Merrimack
Do we
Valley?
get
Yeah.
North Shore? Is that
North
cheap?
Shore.
Or
We
is
get
that free?
Boston.
I love
North
North
Shore.
Shore.
I love North Shore
Wonderful.
magazine.
Yeah.
I don't know, where do you get that?
I get it at the doctor's
At
office.
the doctor's office, I know.
What we were
Sorry.
trying to figure out on all of this is, when was the last time
It was
these were
evaluated.
reviewed? We have no idea when they were reviewed, so That's why we felt, you know what, let's just go through it and
Well,
see what there is, because there may be some that we all say,
Right.
Professional artist.
So my question
I
is,
question that
Pretty
one.
narrow.
so
Right.
every time you get a thing back, isn't Cox taking care of these for you? When do we have to pay Cox, or do we pay them at
we pay
each
the
month?
magazines directly, right?
Well, then why
Well,
do we
we-
have Cox?
I don't know.
I was seeing invoices from the magazines
Yes.
directly, at which point I
Right.
said, can someone please, cause the other problem is what magazines always do is they give them to you now at Christmas time, when in
Yeah.
fact it's not due till October
Yeah, next
Yeah.
one.
Or they want you to
2015.
renew
So
it.
I said to Megan, can you pull me up what you've got on the computer so that we can try to see whether these even need to be renewed now or not, which has then started this, but no, we're getting them individual.
Oh,
So
it's gotta
it-
be, that'll
So what
last.
is Cox, unless he's getting it
It
I
looks
I don't
like
know what
cheaper,
cost.
cheaper price,
Well, I don't think it's cheaper, that's for sure.
cheaper than
Well, if-
getting it individually?
Well, they're
so.
Paying
It
on
says that
average
you can go
$36
through
a-
this.
Yeah.
You can cross off what you
A
don't
year.
want. You can
$36
add what you do want,
36,
and it said, please note that rates quoted on this renewal do not include any applicable state or local taxes. Your discount of 18% has been applied in accordance with the terms of your contract. Excuse me. For budgeting purposes, it's anticipated that publishers will increase rates by 7%. This
So I
would
don't
increase the
think
total
you should be
rate
paying
shown.
any individual subscription.
No, I don't think you should pay any individual subscriptions. You're paying this guy, this
They're
person,
just
this
sending
company.
I have not seen this, so this was printed out and you guys were reviewing it, so I don't even know what we're talking about.
When I see
And there is a
magazine
support-
subscriptions here, I do the bigger one to recycle, so.
There is a support, so we can always email this person or call this person and specifically say, you know, can we get these to renew all at the same time?
Well,
When does
it might not matter.
It may not
They
matter
take
now.
care of it.
What's
The
the
magazines
expiration
just
date?
have this address
they all
on their-
change?
Okay.
So they're just sending out,
So you pay the 1,500, is that what it was, whatever?
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
You pay
Yeah.
that and they manage it.
So
Yes, they
I will-
manage it.
I'll find out when we actually get that bill.
What was the name of the magazine you mentioned? It completely left my mind already,
The
but,
Publishers Weekly.
no, the, that
Artists.
pertains to this area, North,
Oh, North
North
Shore
Shore.
Magazine.
North Shore.
That's not
We
on
could
here,
Right.
but that's
maybe we
something
could
I would look
add
at.
that.
Yankee is on here, which
Yeah.
is excellent.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
Boston
that.
Magazine is on here, which is
Mhm.
excellent.
And the Merrimack Valley one, which is necessary.
And that's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go through because we're getting individual.
Yeah,
I
so-
think they just
Yeah,
send them
so
out
we
'cause the
can-
name is on
We
the-
can make sure that those
We're on their computer.
are actually
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
and
Right.
not
Right, there's only one.
actually individual ones.
Right. Like Ladies Home Journal, it says you must order it directly, so it looks like
So
Cox
there are
can't
some.
That one's been,
order that
Canceled.
for you.
Take that out of the
I think Ladies Home Journal has been canceled, actually.
then that's probably we didn't renew it.
No, I mean
The magazine
the
doesn't exist
magazine.
anymore?
Died.
I think it was combined with Better Homes and Garden, and I don't think
Okay.
there's a Ladies Home Journal anymore.
And Country Life is
So-
good.
So Diana, do you, this is definitely a kind of thing that I think you could, make one of the, or, you know, like if you said you're working with Megan, if one of the library assistants, you know, or maybe Amanda, since she's new, you know, something that they can be, like, no, you know?
Well, she was, actually. You were having the pages.
I was having actually Sarah help out with that. I guess that was Thursday.
Excellent.
Yeah, so great.
So
My impression, and then I would see if there's anything that's not on that list, if they can then take that on,
Yeah.
so that we don't have to have, you know, if there are 15 that are not on their list, why?
right.
And these look like they're all 15 into 16 subscriptions, so it looks like we're still
Have time.
have time.
Yeah.
Question though is every magazine here in this library represented on that list?
That was gonna be my question as
Or
well.
are there some
Good job
individual
for one of the
something or
pages.
others?
So I'm
That's what
wondering
I said.
about that with the bills that we're getting, so
Right.
I'll
So
check.
Is
Well,
it just a bill that
with
they're
that.
sending like, oh,
Don't pay
like you
bills.
say,
Yeah,
it's time to
don't pay the
renew, get
bills.
an extra thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna go into the year 2001,
Yeah.
2000.
For instance, and this one just came through, and I don't think we put it through yet. Reader's Digest large print came through to us, and it is a 12/1/2000. 2014,
Yeah.
but then it has an expiration date of 11/30/2015.
So
I'm not
don't
sure.
pay
let's
any of
keep,
the bills that come
let's
in.
keep that, a copy of that in Lori's folder, so you can have it, Lori, so you can keep referring to it.
But then,
And
yeah, definitely
start.
see if they're all here, see
And I'll
if they're
find out
worth,
how they actually bill us,
yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a number on there in an email that you
Yes.
can see.
Curious to- oh, okay.
Just ask that question.
And-
Hmm.
And have one of the pages make one of those, usage surveys.
Yeah,
It's worth
do
it,
you read here?
yeah.
What I'd like
It
to
doesn't
do
even
is
have
go
to be
through
a- it could
last
just be-
year's.
You know,
If
check,
you've read
please
it,
check
check
off,
it.
please
Yeah.
check off if you've used this magazine, or if you've taken it off the shelf,
Yeah.
please check it.
So you can either have it on every magazine or on the box.
I don't know at what point we started with magazines here and there, I don't remember that, but
Well,
I
that's
think
when
that
we went
makes-
BISAC,
That's right,
they
that's
went,
right. That's, I think, timed because it's over on the side and it's harder to.
I know, I feel like if we do have a different setup for the magazines, it would be better.
Yeah, because they're everywhere and
Yeah.
it's, so people come in, they see them along
If
the
we
top of the
had
stacks,
them all in
that's
one
it.
place.
Yeah.
challenge
it would
is
be better.
we have, is the
We
floor
have very
space.
few
Right.
places.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes, yeah, but,
And
But
then-
could we
but
dedicate
maybe
a
we can
shelf
work on it,
that has little, you know,
yeah.
All
things
the
that,
boxes.
yeah.
Well, how many magazines
You all know
are
what I
there?
meant.
Well,
Yeah.
there's 41
Exactly.
there.
Yeah, and just have a long,
Right.
yeah, and,
Okay, so, excellent.
So will you ask
So
if
personally, we-
Publishers
I don't think
Weekly
it's on
covers
Yeah.
Publishers Weekly?
Yeah.
Because I think if that's gonna help
Yeah.
life in moving, collection development,
yeah, they're good.
it's very useful. I don't think we have to make a vote on that, I think
No.
we can just add it to your materials. I think that's why we've never had a discussion about magazines, cause it's about
Oh, no, I can do it.
materials. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
directors.
Um,
Okay, anything else under materials renewals?
Park passes, you said.
Yes, the park pass, expires at the end of this month. So, and that we usually get the 2 for, I believe those are the,
Well, one is free.
One is free.
And we pay for one.
excellent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it expires at the end of this month,
And it's well used.
Regular National Geographic, just kids, huh?
so.
I think as a regular one is probably so expensive.
Mm.
As a subscription.
The park, oh,
No, sorry,
Laura,
answering two
Laura,
questions.
okay. So,
How much is it, Diana?
I thought it was 35.
I thought so too.
$35, yeah.
I thought so too.
What is-
The park
park
pass
pass.
is $35.
And it,
Two
it gets,
conversations, so just
Oh,
one.
sorry.
it gets incredibly well used in the,
Yeah.
in the summertime.
Mhm.
So,
I make a
Okay.
motion to, oh, we don't have it on the agenda, so we can't really vote, it has to be consensus.
So I don't see anybody that's not interested in having it renewed, so thank you very much.
And where, from where?
I think the donation account,
Yeah.
is where we bought, where we bought it last year.
I think it was donation.
Yeah,
And order both of them, so we get the one for free.
yeah, and at the same time.
Yeah, we can.
you have something on your mind, Barbara? It looked like you were gonna say
No,
something.
the second.
Okay. I didn't wanna
No.
run over you. Programming fundraising, one of the things that, we keep using that donation account and the state aid account and all the accounts, so it was reminding us of, the book sale being one of the biggest fundraisers, and Diana, asked you about bricks
Yeah,
and that fundraiser and the fact that we did not do an annual appeal this year, and maybe we might need to think of something in the spring. So what was the question about the bricks?
they had wondered if we can still do the bricks. I don't know
I've had a few people
how,
ask me.
how that,
So-
stopped.
So the Friends
If-
of the library did the bricks in the past. Before we go on to further on that, how's the water? Speaking of the bricks and
Yeah, with all the rain.
I think it's fine.
so you
No
haven't
big
had to
puddles?
walk through big puddles.
I don't think so.
Over here, there were some, but
Yeah,
not
But
that's,
not
that's,
there.
that's regular.
And
It was
how's
pouring last
leaking?
week.
There was leaking. there was leaking, with.
So do you
with-
call Denise when it leaks? So that's, you
I
have to
think,
call
I
every
think,
time?
I think, yeah, I think it was too late to call Denise at that point. I think it was at night
And where was it leaking?
in the entryway.
Entryway. I can see a huge amount of water on those, in the teen room.
Is that
So-
old? Is that
No,
new?
Yeah,
well, it's
that-
some, but it's gotten worse.
So that could be.
Yeah. The circle was definitely there, but I don't remember that. And then that other one up,
Mhm.
you can't,
I
might
see
not be
the
able
other
to
one,
see it.
yeah.
Well, we had a system going for quite a time, I can remember, where every time it leaked, Greg wanted to be called. Perhaps we should,
Just check.
just to keep it on record that it's
Yeah.
pouring such and such,
Yeah.
and it's,
To have the
rain is
date.
coming in.
I think the more she hears, the more something might get done.
And I do see we have a new water fountain, so at least
It's one
I
of
know.
those.
Yeah.
If it rains that night, call the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just
say
Just to let her
huddle.
know.
Yeah.
flip
Yeah.
a phone call.
And write it in an email.
I think, yeah, send it in an
Because then
email.
you have a trail.
You want a paper trail anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, so back to the bricks. So Kathy and Laurel, you might know from the Friends, the bricks were a challenge. I know there's bricks that are still piled up on the side. I can't imagine putting them in was a easy event.
The town does it.
Yeah, but
Town did it,
Well-
and I think it was, they did them all at one time,
No,
Yeah.
no, it happened in 2 stages.
or Tuesdays.
so anyway, so since we don't have a Friends group, I don't
Yeah.
think it'd be.
It's, you have
something.
to, you deal with a company and then you have to have a certain number ordered and you have to have money to put up for the ordering. And it's quite a project. The first time they make minimal money and the second time I think they broke even.
Really?
Wow.
So
So it's not a great fundraiser.
yeah, and I know Deb's or past directors bricks are still holding up the doors, in the back. So they're not.
I
They're,
I don't understand
Yeah, I don't-
that.
so
So,
So-
Did they charge enough?
Attached to-
So anyway, I think it would be something a Friends group would
Yeah.
pursue. It's not something, but so say if you next time somebody asks says, don't you want to belong to a Friends group? Why don't you start that fundraiser? And actually, it doesn't require a Friends group to have somebody start a fundraiser for us.
Yeah, right. A group of citizens could.
Yeah,
Thing of it is, we wouldn't be able to put up money
right.
to
Oh,
They would
start.
have to-
that-
they would have to
Exactly.
Yep.
raise
Exactly.
the money.
At the time, there was a Friends group, the first time it was done, there was a balance. And the second time there was as well, but there's no money there, so.
yeah. It's not a matter of, we're not allowed to continue it,
No,
for
you have to
space or
guarantee a
anything
certain
like that.
amount, yeah.
But if somebody asked to say, well, the library doesn't have any plans for it, but why don't you and get together a group and start it?
You can do.
And I think the person that had asked me, one person that had asked me, because they had seen my name and it said, well, I just want a brick in there. No, you can't just pull out a brick and put it in, and it's like, no, it needs to be done, like you said, a
Yeah.
special company does it.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah,
chisel
one by
and brick.
one,
not just
put
an
a
easy
brick.
thing.
The first round, I bought one, a good sized one with my granddaughter's names on it and didn't choose to have it put here. I took it home and put it in my garden, but it was a donation to the library,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, so you say brick that. Is that where you got the brick?
it's my brick.
Okay. Any other fundraising thoughts?
Well, I think we better think hard because we need to start
We need
adding
to-
to our funds.
Yeah, and programming is
well, you had
vital.
one. You had one that you had read about that we talked about.
I
didn't
heard
we?
about it on the radio from some little town in Idaho or someplace, and this man had put out for his library in his small town, just drop off your change, empty your old. He raised thousands and thousands of dollars, and just by dropping off, he did it with pennies, and he did a big penny collection, and they had a bank like we do here, TD Bank North, that we do business with, the town does business with, that will
Count it for free.
counted for it, and I think it was over $40,000. But I mean, it was
Wow.
I'm just thinking that's kind of like a really easy kind of thing, and you get the
know.
community involved, and people empty change jars or
Well,
coin
Kids
jars.
love to do
Everybody's
it too.
got them.
You know-
Kids, every time they come in we did that, and every time, Mommy, where's the money? They like putting it in a jar, putting it in something,
Yeah.
it makes money and.
makes noise. So I was thinking, you know, it's change, so when we have a new director, it's support the change with your change and,
It should be in marketing.
with
Absolutely.
I have like a big treasure chest, you know, because that was another thing I was thinking about for the annual appeal. If we had the annual appeal, is that you have it something in the library that says, you know, the annual appeal is going out to, we treasure our library with a treasure chest, you know, because people don't, not everybody who comes in as a patron is on our list, because there's, you know, other people, is, you know, treasure your library, you know, put some treasure here with a, you know, a locked box that you can put money in. So-
My only one thought about the change thing is that we're one of many libraries looking for a director and we just don't have a clue when that
When
could
it's gonna
happen.
come,
And
right.
do we wanna come up with a different way to, maybe in the winter, you know, some kind of a
To do
winter
it sooner
theme.
rather than later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to do the change, come up with some kind of a thing. I mean, it would be fabulous if we have a director, but we
But it
don't
takes
know.
And
Yeah.
another thought I had, that, I mean, that is one, but I think there are people who will donate more than change if they know that they get their little tax receipt piece of paper. So by putting change in, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I just don't, I would rather donate. I mean, I'm sure they would
Yeah,
still do that,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
have to have, or you may write a check and
Yeah, and here's the-
you
yeah,
know, I
here's
think
the
that would have to
receipt.
be happening too, so.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because, you know, pocket change is one thing, you want the $100 bills coming in.
The book sale is gonna be on in the spring, and Lisa had just called me before the meeting started to zero in on a date that works for her, so
May or April.
May probably, yeah. She's been out in the shed every week, even in this cold.
Oh my god, good for her.
So we
because-
just have to look at dates for all of us as well. It's great that it's
Exactly.
appropriate for Lisa, but for instance, May,
Right.
my son's graduating from college,
Yay.
so if
Right.
there's something
Then
going
I
on,
need to go to a graduation.
I will
It's
not
tough.
be able to come to the book. You know what I'm saying? You need to
We're
kind
gonna
of
have
check
to
with all
pass
of
up on the
us.
graduation.
Sorry, son.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody needs to pitch in, it's just not one person's thing, and this is what supports the library.
No, but I mean, let
Yeah.
us
But
let
it's
us know
also-
the date.
yes,
Let us have a
yes.
have
And
a
others,
say
it's
in the
not
date.
just trustees, it's
Yeah.
not a trustees
That's a lot, no.
fundraiser,
Yeah.
it's a library fundraiser,
Yeah.
so that's something too.
And there's Mother's Day in that month.
And high
Um,
school graduations as well
yeah.
as college
Who's
graduations.
having a
High
new
school
baby?
is
You having
true.
another baby
Okay.
in the family?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Laura.
Yes.
Sorry, I digress. So anyway, there are ideas, and we need to keep. But
Well, do you think we should do a fundraiser in the winter then, like starting in January or February?
I hate to have a fundraiser until there's a.
We need to complete the
thing
fundraiser
here.
before we
Here.
can start a
The
fundraiser.
appeal has to be, you have to
Finished.
take a picture of what we've
Yes.
got from the last annual.
Yeah.
appeal.
So as soon as that happens, I have no problem with
Okay.
putting it through.
Great.
And Carlos said he is reaching out to a person in town because he has not heard back from the
Excellent.
company that we are that has our
Supposedly
town
working on.
contract. So hopefully that will bear fruit. And
And that, just to go back and look at, it can't, it might be a date like between April and May when, if it's most convenient for everyone.
All, yeah, that, my only point was, let's just
You're
make
not
sure
gonna
we're
get
checking
something
with.
for all.
No,
Yeah.
there's
No,
I
but
think
majority,
Yeah,
majority.
a majority.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but it might be the date
I don't
that
even
you
know.
can't come, but
Yeah.
everybody else can.
so
I don't even know when
so the
this
feedback for
falls.
Lisa would
Yeah.
be, Kathy, is that if she can put out a
Couple of days,
couple of
Yeah.
dates
yeah,
That's a
to
good idea.
Yeah.
to
absolutely,
her primary team that
Right.
we could
right.
we can get
Yeah.
some consensus on, because I know that I was away the last book sale.
We'll never forget it.
So I only got to work one whole day instead of 3 days.
We'll never forget that.
Computers were on that. We already really discussed computers, so I appreciate that. But you know, I was realizing that that is a big thing we haven't budgeted for, and and we need and I don't know where it is on the long range plan. I know it's mentioned on there,
Right.
but you know, in vague terms of keeping up with technology. Well, 5 years is not keeping up.
Yeah.
So, and I know Diana was asking for more internet speed. So I'm not sure whether it's, you know, I have no concept of whether it's the internet speed, because it should be darn big. I thought they had upped it just a year ago.
Well, who's our provider? Is it Comcast?
Comcast.
Yeah, so should we,
It's awful.
What's awful about it? Is it a computer issue or is it a?
Shouldn't
It just,
did we get the new routers in?
No.
Well, we can talk offline. Because they're doing this whole big push of putting
They
in-
are.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
they are.
they
I
are.
haven't gotten mine.
Because I got my new
Mine.
router
And it's
and
supposed to give you faster speeds and also free Wi-Fi to anybody who
It does,
doesn't
yeah.
have a Comcast account. So that's one thing we can also look at is to see where is that and
so
you know, because you're supposed to go in and tell them, hey, I want my new one, and then they'll ship it, and then
And
you
they
just
do.
install it, set it up, and then it's
so maybe
Really?
maybe
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
boy Carlos being
Somebody
home
just
for the
take
month, we
this
can
and
give him have him help you with this
Yeah.
in
Couple of
technology.
phone calls to Comcast.
Yeah, and yeah,
Talk to you too.
might be able to make it happen.
yeah,
Yay.
yeah. 'Cause I know that another person had mentioned that they've seen that someone from the outside can get in to the computer,
So we need
And
better
then it
firewall.
just-
Somebody got
I
on
think so,
our
too.
system.
from somebody from the outside. Where?
Patron.
yeah,
home
I
kind of
think
thing?
so,
A patron
Oh,
can get
you mean
in
somebody
on-
can
You mean from their
get to the
home?
computer and then do
Yeah.
something and access it?
yeah,
Like, we can look at that.
so they need
Creative.
help. They need help.
Yikes. Yeah.
So
Somebody hacked us, that
security. So
And that's what the security is.
and you know if we need you know Carlos has a full-time job too. So if we need to you know I do a contract and
Well, MVLC will help too, won't they?
MVLC should help, but you know they also
But I think
help
there's
us
limits to their help.
certain
There
amounts
is.
that they
Yes.
do. I know when a previous director or two previous directors we had a contract outside contract,
That's right.
so we might be able to even
Find out what about that.
even do a summer or winter break contract for Carlos if you're Carlos son.
Well, we
Well, we can
want
look
to
at.
be careful with
Yeah, we can.
relatives of trustees.
No,
We can
that's
look
true.
at. We can help and figure out what we need to do.
Yeah.
And then we can.
So don't think that's not an option. Is hiring somebody.
Yeah, so that would be probably good.
Good.
It definitely needs to get looked at.
And the cable commission. So
Yeah.
it might be the perfect time to tie all that together.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me know if you need anything. We're gonna meet if we have to get something else on that agenda for one short vote. On
This agenda keeps growing.
I'm only saying it might have one vote on the 5th. Updating speed and security, good budgeting, software. We've covered it all. Lord of mercy.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
May I have any
Nope.
other?
Just adjourn.
You don't need to
Just
have
no
a-
voting for adjournment. We have covered the agenda.
Is there any other?
Is there any other business? Second month in a row, 8:15 adjournment.
Whoa.
There-
Thank you very
Wait,
much.
wait,
Diane.
wait.
Well, there was one email that I sent out, but you would need to leave the room.
There was
Oh.
also the
Yeah.
when
Thank you,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
when we bring the new director on, I was thinking we may want to do a whole refresher on what our roles versus what the director's roles are.
Yeah,
just
we
to
have to
bring-
re-clarify.
Yeah, because I know that we're taking
Merging,
We're
on some
blurring the
things
lines
that,
here.
yes.
yes.
We will print out the actual document of who does what.
Yep.
And gladly hand it over.
We're gonna have a gold star on the top.
Thank you, Diana.
This is your job.
We're
Thanks,
adjourned.
Diana.
We're adjourned, Charlie.
Thank you.